What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. This episode, I'm going to go over week 1 overreactions, and I have some early week 2 waiver ads. So you won't want to miss that. Everything's timestamped below. Go ahead on YouTube at TFF Dudes. Check that out. Give us a like and subscribe. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out. Today's week 1 overreactions are brought to you by our friends over at Underdog. Underdog's a great place for best ball, great place for props plays. You pick the higher or lower of the prop. When I had a decent day today, Sunday. So go check that out. They have some nice free plays, some gimmies, go check that out. You will not want to miss that. And the gimmies are like Dak Prescott over 0.5 passing yards. It's almost a lock in case the guy gets hurt. Knock on wood, always, of course. But today's week 1 overreactions, guys. Head over to Underdog, enter promo code DUDES. They'll match you up to $1,000 now. So go ahead, take advantage of that opportunity right now for week 1. Week 1 overreactions, dynamic kickoffs. Dynamic kickoffs. Do you guys want to know what the definition of dynamic is? Dynamic is continuously changing, adaptable, not static. I don't know about you. Everything I watched was not dynamic about dynamic kickoffs. The new kickoff isn't bad. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, I know. DJ Dallas took one to the house. Big deal. Majority of this is just a bunch of touchbacks with a fancy name. Kickoff was perfect for 50 years. Absolutely perfect. Exciting play. Didn't know what was going to happen. They can't make it better than what it was when they created it. That was perfection. Everything else is just horrible now. They can't make it any better. They can only make it worse. We traded the perfect kickoff for more touchbacks, no more surprise onside kicks. You have to declare an onside kick. What is this? What are we going to do next? Thumb wars? That's the only thing I know you have to declare. You don't have to declare. I guess you can declare bankruptcy. That's what Michael Scott always said. So yeah, dynamic kickoffs, I'm not feeling it. It's worse. Change it back. Okay. The last kickoff we had last year was better than what we have now. The touchbacks are about the same. Let's get rid of it. Maybe I'm wrong here. As of right now, it's not dynamic. It's not special. It's not exciting. I just want original kickoff, what we had. Okay. Maybe make every guy on the kickoff special teams wear a guardian cap. I don't know, but figure that out. Dynamic kickoffs is not the way to do it. I don't like it. This one's not going to be popular, guys. My takeaway / reaction, overreaction from week 1. We don't have enough preseason games, and it shows. Okay, I have stats to back this up. This isn't just me. I hate preseason. I'm with you guys. No one wants to watch preseason games. The starters aren't playing. It's just a bunch of the second strings, stuff like that. But today we had only 5 games on Sunday hit the over. The Bills-Cardinals game ended 34-28. The over-under was 45.5. So boom, that hit. Texans-Colts, that hit the over-under of 45. Buccaneers-Commanders, like I said it would, hit. Cowboys-Browns hit 42.5. Saints and Panthers, that hit also because the Saints dominated. The games with the highest over-under totals that did not hit, Steelers-Falcons, that total was 48.5. And the final score was 2017. Titans-Bears, 46.5. That final was 24-17. And the big one, the one that hurts, Dolphins-Jaguars, total was 47.5. Final score was 20-17. I know we don't want more preseason games. I think the offenses need more time to gel. They're just getting thrown out there. None of the starters even playing preseason. I'm not saying add, a bunch of preseason games, maybe just one more so starters get a little bit more action. It would be interesting to see what starting teams played in the preseason and which ones didn't. But seems like the over-under, it wasn't hitting. I don't think defenses are better. I think how the NFL has these new rules set up, it puts the defenses at a disadvantage. I think it's going to take a couple games for these guys to really get going. Those are my 2 overreactions. Reactions from week 1 is dynamic kickoff is no good, and we need more practice time for these guys to get the offenses grooving. It's always easier to get the defense going rather than the offense going. Is this an overreaction? Is Trevor Lawrence the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC South? Could Will Levis surpass him as the 3rd best quarterback? We know CJ Stroud's better than Trevor Lawrence. And that throw Anthony Richardson made today, maybe Anthony Richardson's better. Those fantasy points from Anthony Richardson, they are no joke. They're no joke. He had a really good game. So that's what I got there for now. And with that, guys, let's hop into our waiver ads. It's only Monday. Trying to get these out as early as I can. I'm going to try to get these out every single Monday. Might squeeze into Tuesday. Who knows? Just depends how crazy these Sundays are. Because, so let's get over here into the waiver wire ads. These waiver wire ads are brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. Head over to Trophy Smack. Get yourself a fantasy football trophy, participation ribbon, last place awards, whatever draft boards. Some people like draft boards still. They got the stickers, all that good stuff. You got to walk up there and stick it on there. TrophySmack.com/dudes. 15% off your whole entire order. Trophy Smack is a great partner of the dudes. You will not want to miss that. So yeah, waiver wire ads, guys. These are early. There might be some more stuff coming out, but you can never have too many waiver ads. All of these waiver ads will be under 70% rostered, unless it's just something like, hey, guys, you got to check the waiver wire. You got to check it right here. Go. Here's another takeaway. Let's just throw this one in there too. Bad grass. NFL's going overseas, playing international games on grass that's slippery. Like, why don't we just play in the snow? Get some good grass. The World Cup does it. They don't play on turf. I don't like turf either. I don't think the NFL should play on turf. Get rid of the turf. Get rid of these games on fields that the condition's not good enough. Though grass is becoming a big factor, and I don't think that's what led to Jordan Love's issue. But we shouldn't be watching football games on a slip and slide. Like, come on, that field was terrible over there in Brazil. And, all you guys over there on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok just let me have it for, saying I don't like Brazil or the city of Chicago. This is just ridiculous. I'm just having fun on a podcast. Have a little sense of humor and grow up. And if it offends you, maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know. But let's play all games on grass. No more turf. No more soccer fields. All right. Waiver wire ad number 1 here. I'm going to start with quarterbacks. Normally, week 1, we don't need quarterbacks because there's no bye weeks. There's no streaming. But Jordan Love got hurt. I drafted Jordan Love. It's terrible. My first waiver wire ad, I'm going with Baker Mayfield, guys. Baker Mayfield is 41% rostered. He went off today. Yeah, he played the Commanders. Mike Evans looked good. Jalen McMillan looked good. Chris Godwin scored a touchdown. The Bucs looked good, guys. Even their backup running back, good old Uncle Bucky. I know Rashad White's the guy, but you got, Bucky, he's over there nipping at his heels. So go check that out. Baker Mayfield easily handled the Commanders defense, completing 24 of 30 passes for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 37-20 win. Spread the ball between Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan. Already said that the Bucs have multiple scoring options, which is great for their offense. Mayfield just capitalized on it all. Say low in QB1. They're playing the Lions. The Lions are going to score points. This game is in Detroit. It's on turf. This is a rematch game from who they lost to in playoffs last year. Baker has the weapons. He looked fine without Canales. I know the Commanders aren't good. Lions are going to score points. Baker's going to have to keep up with them. This is going to be a great game. I think this one hits the over. So go ahead. Add Baker Mayfield, 41% rostered. Next on my list here, Matt Stafford. And I know, he just lost in overtime. He lost Puka maybe tonight. We don't know how long Puka's going to be out. He's going to have to keep scoring points. Going over to the desert, going to Arizona, going to be playing the Cardinals. Cardinals are going to score some points. Rams are going to score some points. Matt Stafford's rostered at 59%. Matt Stafford's rostered 59%. I think this is a great plug and play while you're waiting for Jordan Love to get better, or just a guy to have on your roster. So I got Matt Stafford there. Go ahead and add him. Those are my 2 quarterbacks. I got Baker Mayfield and I have Matt Stafford. These running back waiver wire ads are brought to you by our friends over at Sleepers. Sleepers, the absolute best place to play fantasy football. They now got pick'ems. Invite your whole league to do a pick'em. Throw some money on that. Do whatever you want. Pick'ems are fun, and we do pick'ems on the pod. Do them yourself. We might do something on the pod where we invite a bunch of you to do the pick'ems with us. Let us know what you think with the pick'ems. Leave us a comment on YouTube here at TFF Dudes. Enter promo code DUDES100, dynamic payouts. Sleeper, dynamic payouts. That's amazing. Dynamic kickoff, not so much. Promo code DUDES100, match up to $100. Head over to Sleeper. Tell them we sent you. Remember, DUDES100. Guy you can't add is J.K. Dobbins. He did take over as the lead back in this game. And yeah, he had one really long run, But let's not stop that. 59% rostered, strong performance, 135 rushing yards, touchdown on just 10 carries in their win over the Raiders, 22-10. He had a 61-yard run, longest play of the day, nearly reached the end zone. Chargers are probably going to stick with the hot hand, but Dobbins, I think he could be in line for more action. He's going to be leading the charge going into week 2. I've always loved Dobbins. He just can't stay healthy. Add this guy on your waiver wire. They're going to run the ball. They don't have a ton of wide receiver help at the moment. J.K. Dobbins. Next, going over to the other Harbaugh, I have Justice Hill. And yes, Derrick Henry had a good game, but Justice Hill caught all the passes, and it looked like Baker Mayfield couldn't throw to anyone besides Zay Flowers and Justice Hill for the longest time. Justice Hill had 1 carry for 3 yards, but added 6 receptions for 52 yards on 8 targets and lost the Chiefs. Surprisingly outsnapped Derrick Henry due to the Ravens' catch-up game script. His role as a passing down back might continue, especially in deeper leagues, with full point PPR, until Keaton Mitchell returns at the very least. Next, I have Jaleel McLaughlin. I wanted to say Jaleel McGee. I think that's a basketball player. Definitely not who we're talking about here. 7% rostered. J.K. Dobbins was 59% rostered. Jaleel McLaughlin, 7% rostered. Carried the ball 10 times for 27 yards and a fumble. He caught all 5 targets for 1 yard in a 26-20 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. He had 5 more touches than his co-starter Javonte Williams, but both struggled with less than 3 yards per carry. McLaughlin's workload is encouraging, but neither back stands out right now. Both were very underwhelming. 7% roster. Maybe just keep an eye on him. Maybe he's just a stash. We just need carries here at the running back position. Next on my list, I have Jameson Williams, J-Mo, Jordan's sleeper of the week. The guy went absolutely bananas. 62% rostered, going to be in a shootout next week with the Bucs. They were giving him handoffs. They were throwing him the ball. Could he potentially be the number 1 over Amon-Ra St. Brown? Maybe he's the 1A, 1B. Looked really good against the Rams. They used him a lot. Maybe Amon-Ra is kind of playing decoy right now. Maybe J-Mo will play decoy next week. J-Mo was a first-round draft pick. They got capital in him. They want him to be really good. For what he's rostered, could this be this year's Puka Nacua? Very low rostered, 62% rostered. I think you should throw some fab at this guy. I think he'd be really good. He's a burner. They're giving him end rounds. They're doing everything they can to get this guy the ball in a fast-paced offense that's going to score points. The defense is going to put him in shootouts. Jameson Williams should not be on your waiver wire. Add this guy. Next on my list, I have Khalil Shakir. Not to be confused with Shakira, but Shakir. Shakir caught he's 5% rostered, and he could be Josh Allen's number 1 receiver. What happened to Dalton Kincaid? There was all kinds of talk about that guy, all the things he was going to do. Josh Allen has a great game. I don't know what Dalton Kincaid did. It wasn't good, though. Shakir caught all 3 of his targets for 42 yards and a touchdown. The Bills' 34-28 win over the Cardinals. His 11-yard touchdown in the third quarter showed good awareness, showed some grit. He got in there. He will continue to work alongside rookie Keon Coleman in the Bills' passing attack as they take on the Dolphins this week. So it should be another game full of firepower, and that one should hit the over. Dolphins hopefully hit the over here. Next on my list, I have Jalen McMillan as a deep sleeper. He had 1 catch for a touchdown today, and that Tampa Bay offense, something happens to Chris Godwin. Maybe this is more of a stash, but I got Jalen McMillan. Keep your eye on this guy. 1 catch for a touchdown today versus Washington. Next on my list, I have Rashid Shaheed coming in here, and he caught a bomb from Derek Carr. What did Chris Olave do today? Chris Olave's he just doesn't score touchdowns. He wasn't getting the ball. Maybe they just didn't need him versus the Panthers. Maybe they're saving him. But Shaheed caught 3 of 5 targets for 73 yards and a touchdown. Saints win over Carolina. His big play was 59 yards on the opening drive. Look for Shaheed as a low wide receiver 3, low end wide receiver 3, high end wide receiver 4 in week 2 as they play the Cowboys. They're going to need him all hands on deck. Next here on my list, let's just throw this guy in here because Demarcus Robinson, 12% roster. Don't have a graphic of him, but I don't know how the severity of Puka's knee injury. I know he did come back in the game. If he is hurt, Demarcus Robinson had strung together some really good games at the end of last season. Won me a playoff game in fantasy football. 12% rostered for the Rams. No Puka. Those targets got to go somewhere. That's a lot of vacated targets, even though Cooper Kupp still there. All right, next on my list, I have Isiah Likely. Isiah Likely, I think at the moment we got to play him and we got to play Mark Andrews. Isiah Likely is 44% rostered. He caught 9 of 12 targets for 111 yards and a touchdown and almost had 2 touchdowns in the loss versus the Chiefs. Outperformed teammate Mark Andrews. He outperformed Travis Kelce on the other side of the field, becoming Lamar Jackson's go-to target. Whether Andrews was limited or Likely's role is expanding, he's a priority waiver ad heading into the week. I think Likely, just watching that game, watching Lamar, he likes throwing the tight end. He likes throwing the dump offs. So many like you look at Zay Flowers' box score, all the targets he had, all the catches he had, and then the amount of yards he got. Didn't seem like Lamar's really airing it out. Likely and Andrews, you still got to play them both. I did a poll on X. What are you doing with Mark Andrews? Are you starting him? I put, are you starting Mark Andrews? And we had over 300 people vote. The poll was, are you starting or sitting Mark Andrews next week versus the Raiders? And out of 311 votes, 68% said starting Mark Andrews. And I agree. We got to start him. We got to keep playing him. This guy just has so much chemistry with Lamar Jackson. I know Likely went off, and I know Mark Andrews is getting old, but we got to keep playing him, guys. Keep going with, what we know with the Ravens offense. I got to see more Likely. I think you can play both. I'm sorry for everyone I told that I would play Colby Parkinson over Likely this past week just because I wanted a guy that I knew was a starter. Play Lamar has history going the tight ends. Do I think this is going to be an Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski type offense? I'm not sure at the moment. If anyone can do it, it is Lamar. And those are my waiver wire ads there, though, guys. I have them all there. They're all timestamped. Check them out in the notes. Go back and listen to them. And just some other things here that I've just been thinking about over the weekend was Rashee Rice, maybe the steal of the draft. He, Xavier Worthy had 3 targets. He made the most of them. He had an end around, so he got 2 touchdowns. But Rashee Rice had a ton of targets. He had a bunch of yards. And we all could have drafted him, and we all just, let it go to the wayside. So is that maybe the most regretful pick that you've had of this fantasy football season on a guy you passed? I think that might be mine. Jaden Reed, I would say, is another guy we could throw in there, but Jaden Reed's quarterback issue, I don't know what we're going to do with Jaden Reed and the Packers. It's looking like they're talking to Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is probably better than Malik Willis. Can those guys not be in the same football team ever? I don't know. I kind of feel bad for Malik Willis at the moment now with that. That's just some takeaways from week 1, guys, some early waiver wire ads. Let me know what you think about this episode. You can comment on Spotify. You can comment on YouTube at TFF Dudes. Let us know what you think on X at TFF Dudes. Jordan and Seth will be having their prop show like they did last week. Tune in for that. And we will see you next time. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in and take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.